as you head down there, you notice, as you're running south, to your right, there's like a giant thing that looks like a big golf ball.
Hmm.
Those are, as far as you're aware, where they store the MacLeod particles that they compress into the P-clips.
Okay.
Mm.
So would those explode?
They might, but probably not with anything you're carrying on you.
Okay.
Kane and Cloud, you are locked in. You can hear footsteps coming now in the hall.
All right. Is this computer still connected to the network, or have I been locked out entirely?
You've been locked out of the network, but you are still connected to the computers in this building.
Okay. All I want to do is try and open the bars that are blocking our escape.
Okay. Yeah, so it'll be you'll have to do that with the 2 accuracy dice to make a roll for that, because that's now the system knows you're in there. It's fighting back with its
Oh, jeez.
dummy plug
Is it
style.
possible to give Kane use my leadership skill to give Kane a bonus by screaming at him and waving my gun around?
Kane, do you work well under pressure?
No.
Then, if you are screaming at him, that would probably be a disadvantage die. It should be, and of course, I mean, Cloud would be doing that,
But-
so it would be.
But I work really well when I'm fearful for my life, so maybe those would like counter each other out.
They do. You're fearful.
I'm also
so...
rolling up one of the old magazines that I stole and hitting him with it while he does this.
There we
So
go.
I'll say that the disadvantage from being dealt with by Cloud's horrific management skills is balanced out by your ability to work when you're fearful, because that's one of your traits. So one advantage and one disadvantage just cancel out. Just roll 1d20.
All right. I a critical success.
Okay. Okay. So you got the 16, and without the d6s there, that means you have succeeded. You are able to get the bars on the front door open, and
Cool.
they are now stuck that way.
Shove
All
Kane
right.
out of the way to run towards them.
He's sitting down, so the shove is completely unnecessary, but you do it anyway.
I push him out of his chair.
Oh, I hack in a standing position. Nobody sits down if you're taking something seriously.
Of course. Who would think otherwise? So as you reach the door and rush out, you hear the door into the reception area there open, and a bunch of security people are yelling and running in, and then you hear shouts of surprise as they slip in the pool of water that Cloud created by emptying out the water cooler. So they're piled up. You've got a few extra seconds while they extricate themselves from that pileup they've gotten into.
I'm gonna try and re-engage the smart lock on the front door.
Okay, that's going to be tough. You're going to have to roll your d20 for that.
Oh, but it was so easy to unengage it.
Yeah, but again, now the system is in lockdown. So just a regular d20 roll on that, and we'll see how that goes.
Nope.
Okay, it is not. The smart lock explodes,
Oh,
and
jeez.
this stuns you for a second. And while you are stunned, the security people are able to get on their feet and pile out towards you. They see you, and they're coming for you now.
All right. I'm just running.
Fire.
You pardon me?
Totally firing.
Oh, you're shooting your gun at them. Okay. So you're shooting your gun. The first person gets shot right in the chest, and they are... What kind of gun is this that you have? Is it like a ludicrously oversized overcompensation?
No, it's like actually no, it's like RoboCop's gun,
Right?
the Satrapy flag on it, and the handle is shaped like the neck and head of an eagle.
Right. Okay. So that the bullet from that takes the first person in the chest, and they stumble backwards a bit. If you want to keep shooting, there are about a dozen of these security people coming now. So if you want to keep shooting, that's going to put you in a dangerous situation.
That guy's hurt. Call a medic.
Um, they are like they're military security, so they're still coming towards you, but they don't have guns for some reason. They're all waving like cattle prods as they
Jeez.
run towards you.
What kind of place is this?
Kane, sorry, Richard, behind you, and Kane and Cloud above you, you hear a huge explosion as the turrets up here explode from what Richard did to them. And I'll say that that explosion, because it's right next to these, damages the two fighters closest to the turrets.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm just going to put this random
That Richard has been killed.
symbol on them. There you go.
So, seeing that explosion, I'm thinking that maybe that direction is somewhere where they can drop our mechs for us safely, because there's no turrets in that direction. So I turn and I start running south as fast as I possibly can.
Okay.
Do we know like how much of an opening we need?
You need at least 5 minutes.
No, but like physical space.
Oh, so you just need a space that is safe enough for the transport to come through and drop off your mechs. And your mechs are about 20 meters tall each. So you need a space that will accommodate the three of them landing and not collapse under them.
Maybe bombing the roof didn't help.
So, what do you want to do? Security is chasing you. If you're standing your ground, you're going to have to start rolling in a dangerous situation. If you're running, we'll deal with that. But you've got this whole base to go through, and there's lots of advantageous things you could probably figure out to do if you put your minds to it.
Challenge accepted. So you said these lovely spheres have like the particles inside them, right?
They do.
What sort of terrible things do those particles do to machines?
It depends how they're used. They can power the machines, or they can be compressed into a beam. What
if they just got like, I opened that thing up and it just sprayed everywhere? Like, would that have any advantageous effect, and would it kill me?
It would not kill you because it's a containment device for the particles in their uncompressed form. So they would just sort of disperse into the atmosphere and cause more radio and wireless problems.
Would it disrupt any of the other electronics here?
The electronics at the particle compression base are shielded against the particles that they're compressing.
Okay. All right.
But your goal is to destroy those things and lay waste to as much of the space as possible.
Right. Okay. Well, I was going to flirt with the idea of using Omni Torch to cut it open and stuff, but I think that's a wasted effort.
It might be at this point.
Yeah.
With security on the run and stuff.
If we get our bastions, we can just trash them.
Yeah.
As God intended. All right, then. Okay, so I was over here. Can I run thither and try to help them onto the roof? Because I think Kane should try hijacking one of these turrets.
The turrets you blew up?
No, one of these 5 over here.
Oh, the ones in the southwest. Okay.
Yeah. Because that would give us a really big landing area and protection, and the security's down.
Okay. So we'll say here there's the flagpole flying the THF flag. You could probably use that to shimmy up to the roof of this building if somebody knocks it down somehow or bends it. It would make a decent way to get up there. If you can also somehow hold off the security forces while Kane and Cloud are climbing, or if one of them can do that.
Okay. Well, run over there and use my Omni Torch to like heat up the metal and then bend it into an appropriate shape.
You want to get off the roof and go over to the flagpole to do that? Is that?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump down and saw off part of the bottom to
Okay.
bend it so it can form a path back up.
All right. Now you're working on that. It'll take take a minute or two. And
Yeah.
Kane and Cloud, how are you dealing with the pursuit while this is happening?
How close are they to us?
I mean, they're running, you're running. They're in better shape than Cloud. They might be in better shape than Kane. So I mean, they're closing. They're going to catch you if you don't do something about it. And then they'll just be beating you with cattle prods.
Well, Kane definitely doesn't want that.
No, why would he?
What I'm gonna do, I've got my little handheld drone, my personal drone.
Mhm.
And it's not very quiet, so it's not good for stealth, but I bet you that if I rigged it, it could make a pretty big distraction if you flew it into the middle of a bunch of people and told it to blow up.
Okay. You're going to sacrifice your drone to give yourself an escape.
I'm gonna
Well, they don't
sacrifice
have-
my drone.
They don't have ranged weapons. Can it like do a painful sound or something like that?
It is very loud.
Yeah.
Specifically very loud.
Yeah, it is specifically loud. It would, like, the sound would affect you as well. So you can do that, but you'll have disadvantage on any rolls you have to make. If you want to sacrifice that gear, then you won't be able to use it for the remainder of the mission, but I will say that gives you enough time to get up onto the roof.
Yeah, so my plan is to rig it as kind of like a flashbang kind of effect.
Okay.
And just crash it right into the front group of them.
Did it have a name? Was its name Laura?
It's not important now.
Of course it had a name.
I do make note that this mission, or after I survive this mission, I don't know about you two, but the drone will be given a posthumous promotion. It might actually get a demotion, but that's, that'll be settled later.
Throw me in the brig for careless destruction of government property.
For wasting resources.
Okay, so you are able to rig your drone to go into the middle of the pursuit, and it goes. As it goes, you can hear the loud sound of its fans. It's got these little. It's like a ball-shaped drone, and its ears open up to have those fans that let it fly. And it's got little eyes on it that are cameras, and the eyes flash, and it makes happy little noises and stuff like that. So it's making happy little noises.
So cute.
I have to be true to the source material. So the drone flies into the midst of all of these security figures and explodes, and the camera cuts away before we can see how gross that is. But you have time now to get up onto the roof. Richard has created a pole for you to shimmy up to get up there.
More of a way to dance up it, really.
Yeah. I would assume that as a celebrity, Cloud has done certainly some pole dancing before.
Oh, yeah,
Probably
no,
well under the influence.
He took a lot of pole dancing lessons while trying to save his marriage.
Yeah, and I'll say that's a type of etiquette. So you're able to.
The pole dancing lessons actually destroyed his marriage further, but
yeah, well,
that's in the past.
Right now they're saving his life because despite being in not great shape, he's able to shimmy up onto the roof, up the pole,
He's so much
seductively.
faster because he's lubed up by all the sweat that came out of him while running from the guards.
Yeah, running the 10 feet from the guards. Okay.
His face is like
He ran
legitimately
really
like
hard.
maroon at this point.
So Kane, how are you going to do shimmying up here?
I think Kane, being super nervous about what's coming through that door that they just left, is just going to try and scramble up kind of on all fours.
Okay. Do you have any traits or equipment that will help you with this, or is it covered by any of your fields? I don't think it's any of your fields, but...
No, not really fields. Unless I did a lot of research into excellent techniques for pole climbing.
Okay.
I guess just his general fear and nervous nature just propelling him onwards is the closest thing that we have.
Okay. And Richard has got the survival that lets him do that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, in the mines we did this sort of thing all the time.
Oh, totally. You would cut down a support beam in a tunnel and then, climb up it just for fun.
Yeah.
Just very safe conditions.
The only way we could pass the time.
That's the price we have to pay to have a free market. So you roll your d20 plus 1d6 for your fearful trait.
Yay!
All right, you make it. You get up onto the roof, and thankfully good thing you had that trait. So you're all up there. You can see Yep.
Can I cut it off at the top again to just drop it down?
Yeah, good idea.
With my torch.
You do that. You can see to your right, all of you, the smoldering remains of the 3 turrets. Beyond that, you can see the 2 fighters are damaged, but the pilots are now getting into the top 3 fighters.
There's 3 of us.
And then I'm going to say you're not close enough. Well, actually, Kane, you have a rifle. That's a long-range weapon.
I do.
Pop.
Might be able to give it a try.
All right, I'll take a shot at the closest fighter.
All right, so that's same deal, d20 plus an advantage die. Unless you think one of your traits will also help in addition to the equipment.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Yeah, that's very good.
Slam dunk.
You fire your battle rifle.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. You fire your battle rifle, it goes dit-dit-dit. It's 3-round burst. 2 of the rounds just slam into the pilot's center mass at this distance, and the pilot sort of spins as he falls down, probably dying, or at least dead. And the 3rd bullet ricochets off the canopy of that, and it buries itself into the leg, into the thigh of the 2nd pilot. So that person is just a little bit...
I totally planned that.
is a little bit delayed and maybe won't be piloting their fighter. So there's 2 fighters that haven't been manned, but the pilot does get into the 3rd fighter, and this one lifts off into the air.
Whoa.
All right. Can I run and try getting in one of the fighters?
It's a bit of a distance. You will have to avoid getting shot by the fighter that's lifting up in the air if you want to do that.
Well, doesn't it take it a while to get up? I mean, to take off?
It's a VTOL fighter in this
okay.
case.
I'm doing it.
Okay, so this is dangerous. Meaning if you fail your roll, you will have to check off one of your traits. So do you have anything that can help you get advantage on this?
Can I take my Omni tool or my Omni torch and like smash off the end and use it to rocket propel myself to be extremely fast and harder to hit because of the speed?
It sounds incredibly dangerous, but also very anime. So yes, but you will lose your Omni tool.
All right, let's do it.
Can we help each other in this system? Like, could I give him covering fire or anything like that?
Sure, we'll say that gives him another advantage die.
All right, so I roll d20 plus d6?
Plus 2d6.
Plus to avoid being shot?
Yep.
All right, I think this macro will work now.
All right. Fortunately, you only needed above 10, so... so you do it.
I rolled a 2 on the d20.
So narrate to us what this looks like.
All right, so I smashed it off and I was like, this is for all the boys back home. And it fall forward, but I'm still clutching the back of the torch as it blows exhaust igniting from the back. And am dragged I want to say by my left leg. Eventually, it breaks free from my hands, but it has snagged a bit of loose fabric on my left leg and pulls me along to the fighter. And I managed to kick it off right in time to reach it.
Okay. So you are at the fighter. There's the dying pilot on the ground near you, and the other pilot who got shot in the leg, who's extremely surprised to see you.
All right. I don't know. Let's let Cloud do his thing.
Cloud, what you want to do?
He's surprised because he knows Richard and recognizes him from childhood or something.
You saw him on the internet.
I'm back in the mine. But anyway, so while I order Kane to risk his life to get to the other fighter, to take cover by one of the valuable things that I feel that not get shot by the fighter because I'm right by the golf ball.
Okay. That's actually a very good idea in terms of hiding. So, Richard, you are working on getting into that fighter there. Kane, you have been ordered to go and get the other fighter.
I look kind of both ways for a second, and then immediately start to follow Cloud over towards the valuable thing.
You're getting court-martialed, dude.
I mean, that's the response that makes the most sense. All right, so you head over there. The fighter is now turning to begin a strafing run on Richard, but it's hesitating because it doesn't want to blow up another THF fighter. They're not as expensive as Bastions, but they are not cheap. So Richard, right. You're there. The dead pilot that's lying on the ground there did have a gun on them, and the pilot who's wounded is starting to reach for their gun as well.
All right. Also, quick question: do fighters have like keys or anything like that?
No. Well, no. It's all done by you type in like a code or something.
Oh no. All right.
Or no. Forget that. That would make too much sense. You see that the gun that the pilot has on the butt of the gun there is a glowing bit that looks like that has to be plugged into the cockpit.
It's got a fob on his gun.
Yeah.
This is the gun that goes on my keychain.
Yeah.
Ugh, Murica. All right. Well, you know what? Let's try this. I think I'm going to get killed before I can get in the fighter. So can I grab the dead man's gun and then try taking the other guy hostage for a minute?
Yeah, you can try that.
Okay, so I'm going to take the dead man's gun and then try to get the other guy in a headlock and have the gun point.
Okay. Now you're still in a dangerous situation, so you're going to have to roll to do this. What do you think will be... Oh, sorry, did you already roll and I was in another... No, okay. So do you think you've got anything that will help you with this?
Actually, okay, well, let me put this out there. I also have my Space Swiss Army knife.
Uh-huh.
Could I save time, because I did just skid over here pretty quickly. Could I save time by not grabbing the gun and instead using the knife and hold him at knife point instead?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Instead. Forget the guns. I got him at knife point.
So you brought a knife to a gunfight?
Literally brought a knife to a gunfight, but it has a screwdriver and an awl in case your shoes need repair.
All right, so make your roll with an advantage dice for your Space Army knife.
All right. And... Oh, no!
You get shot.
Wait, is the macro broken? No, it's not. All right.
Okay. So Richard, you get shot.
By the THF fighter?
Not by the fighter, by the other pilot, the wounded pilot.
Okay.
They get their gun out while you're trying to take them hostage, and they shoot you. So one of your traits, you have to check it off, and you can't use it for the rest of the mission.
Oh boy. Wait, one of my traits are fields?
Traits.
Like inventive, reckless?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't be reckless anymore. That seems fair.
All right. So check. Yeah. There's a good pun in your chat there. Shooting Richard is a dick move, they say.
Nice.
All right. So
you know, we don't need that kind of PG-13 talk in this chat.
That's right.
All right. Where do you get shot?
Based on what's going on here, I'm going to say my left shoulder.
Okay. So the bullet shoots you in the left shoulder. It's a 9mm bullet, so it doesn't like send you staggering or anything, but boy does it hurt.
All right. I express discomfort with an extremely loud, gosh darn it all to heck.
So Cloud and Kane, you can see this happening. You see the fighter is hovering there trying to get a shot. The fighter, seeing that Richard has been shot, turns and starts flying down towards you, looking for an angle to shoot you from.
To get shot, I turn to Kane and say, "This is on you."
I kind of look at him like kind of panicked, and then over his shoulder I see those other turrets down past him, and then I kind of just like grimace and say,
I'm going, "Hey, look at my eyes, buddy. I'm talking to
you." Completely ignoring that, I say like, hopefully third time's the charm, and I want to rush down towards these turrets.
Okay, the southwest turrets. So you're running down there, and the turrets swing towards you.
Oh, geez.
Because the base is on alert now. Also, when you get to this point, beyond the golf ball, you see 5 bastions on the other side of the base making their way towards you. And it's 4 Alm scouts. They've got wings and jet engines on their back that allow them to fly for short distances. And jogging behind them is an Alm command, which has a micro-missile launcher on its shoulder and a bigger gun. They've got conical heads with 2 glowing eyes. And, you know, they've each got the PBR lights, the light beam guns that have given the THF the edge in starting to take back the Earth, and the Alm Command has a straight-up PBR, just like the legendary Armsweir, the deadliest roving bastion of them all.
Well, that's pretty terrifying. So I think Kane is gonna run over here and try and slide down the wall and engage his active reactive clothing and try and hide.
Anyone want to help me?
Can you use that while you're going over towards the turrets, or are you just going to leave it as is, in your opinion?
Well, I think what he's wanting to do is kind of make his way around the back now, so that these giant things don't see him.
So we'll do all that with one roll,
Okay.
and you add a die for your reactive clothing, and I would say your fearful is in play here as well, because this is terrifying.
Cool. Super terrifying.
So you can add 2d6 to your roll.
Yeah.
You just make it. You just make it.
We're all about the bare minimum here.
Picture it as like, you know, you're running and like you almost slip, and there's kind of like that whoop 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 moment, and then you catch your balance at the last second.
It was only remembering Cloud's leadership that kept me on my feet.
I'm not going to let you down.
So you make it over there, and we'll just say you seize control of this turret.
All right, I want to use it to try and shoot down the THF fighter.
Okay.
So would that be another roll? Would I use my electronics abilities?
Before we do that, because it's going to take you a couple seconds to get it online
Oh, yeah.
and aim it and stuff, I want to know what Cloud and Richard are doing.
Been left to die. So I fire a shot at Kane as a warning. It intentionally goes wide, but
You hear a bullet go past you from Cloud's obnoxious pistol.
Yeah, does it have like really good sound effects with it too? Like I'm imagining it's got a bit of built into it,
A bit of what built
of
into it?
Cloud's voice
like an air horn. So it's got like a.
It's the perfect gun
Said
for
it.
infiltration.
Yeah, there's actually
you
no
have it-
bullets. It's just sound.
If you hold the trigger down for like just an instant, it's just Cloud screaming angrily. But if you hold it down for a while, it's the Diplo horns. So I've got the my path to Richard is blocked by the fighter, and
Yeah.
this is an interesting one. So the golf balls, how are those held up? Is it like underneath? Is there like a pillar or?
It's like there's grate or grill work and stuff. Like metal, skeletal metal stuff below it.
Inventory sucks for doing anything. I mean, I planned it that way. But
Yeah.
now that I'm gonna get shot by a jet fighter, I'm like, oh, whoops.
Looks back on his life with regret. Where did I bring the tracts?
You do have the flare gun. I'll say that you because you're the leader of this squad, you have the flare gun to summon the transport. This area is not safe, but it is safer than it was for a transport because there's only one fighter in the air. 3 of the anti-air guns are down, and Kane's got control of another one.
I still haven't seen the scouts, so.
You have not.
Do is try to hop from the roof into like the grill work of the golf ball.
Okay.
Just kind of hope that the fighter will not shoot me and instead kill Kane, who is now my enemy for life.
Okay, so you are able to, like, are you leaping dramatically or are you climbing
I don't
carefully
know.
down?
I mean, what kind of a jump is it?
Probably like a 5 feet between the edge of the roof and the gantry, not gantry, the grills. What is the word I'm looking for? The gentry, yes. The landed gentry who are holding up this golf ball.
By rolling for that, like a D20 -8 or something.
Just a D20, unless you have something that'll help with it.
Celebrity?
The gentry recognize me.
They reach out their hands to you.
No,
One of us.
I pop patented informationcomplex.com alpha brain pills. I have no idea if that will actually do anything, but it makes me feel better.
Well, we'll see how the advantage die rolls. So you can add that on.
How much would I add for that?
It's just 1d6 you add for using that equipment.
All right, so here goes nothing. Okay, I fall.
The pills work.
I plummet to the ground.
The pills,
actually,
yeah. Well, with the way
I
this
hit the grate and I fall.
the way this roll seems to have worked out is that astonishingly those supplements do work, but you jump badly. So you like go to jump, you pop your supplements, you feel a rush of strength and energy, and then you just trip over the edge of the roof and slam face first into the metal, and then sort of fall bouncing off the different spars until you hit the ground. You're going to have to check off one of your traits.
Fluttering in the air. Okay, so what happened in this case is that I hit my head very hard, and it robbed me of my fear of women.
Okay. When you stand back up, you think back on your 7 previous marriages and consider, maybe the problem was me. But then you immediately dismiss that thought.
No, it's the women
Sexually
that are
harassing
wrong.
interns for at least a week.
Yeah. So you check off you're scared of women there. But you are, you are off the roof and under the thing. It just wasn't how you wanted it to look. The optics weren't good.
That is the story of Cloud Lannister's life.
Richard,
All right,
there's
so
a person's got a gun on you. You've got a knife in your hand. You've been shot. They've been shot.
okay. Well, time to bury the knife.
What are you doing with your knife?
Shoving it in his neck.
Okay. Do you have a trait that will help you with this?
Survival?
I don't think that's one of your traits.
Oh, a trait that would help it.
Yeah.
Inventive.
You... It would help, but you checked that one off.
No, I checked off reckless.
Oh, but you can only have 3 traits. I thought inventive reckless was like inventively reckless.
Oh, okay. I have something wrong on mine. All right, I'll just remove this. No, inventive and reckless were separate ones.
Oh, okay.
And then, so I have inventive, reckless, and then insecure.
Okay, so with the system you get 3 total traits, 2 good ones and 1 complicating or bad one.
Yeah, that's what the lonely is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now the first trait that you have is checked off, which is everything on that line.
Yeah, well, basically I had it down wrong originally, so I had a trait on there, which was just like sarcastic.
Right, but you
So
don't
I'm just
want that one?
removing that one from my sheet. Yeah, so we'll just
Okay.
drop that one.
Okay, I'll redo my sheet over here too. So you took out reckless, but you still have inventive as your next
Inventive.
one.
And then I just took sarcasm off the list. All right, I'm still inventive and lonely.
Right.
So I'm going to say that the feeling of being entangled with another person, even though they tell me, the company's nice. And so I realized that this is actually the happiest I've been in several months.
So it's nice that someone cares about you for once.
That's right. I mean, we're really having this moment, never more alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so add your 2d6, one from your knife and one from your perverse sense of attention.
10.
You got exactly 10. So has Richard ever killed someone before up close with his knife?
He's been around death.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and was buried alive for an extended period of time.
So
he's not seeing people dead around him is not foreign.
Okay. So you take your knife meant for creation, not for destruction, and you suddenly lunge towards this enemy pilot, and they start to raise their gun, but then they see that you're within their guard and your knife is coming for their neck, and their eyes widen and they throw up their free hand to try and grab your arm, and they grab your arm, but you've got the momentum, and the tip of your knife is just inching and inching towards their neck as you both struggle to try and them to keep the knife out of them and you to put the knife into them. And just like centimeter by centimeter, you slowly push the knife into this person's neck as their eyes get wider and wider, and then they gasp, and you see the life start to leave their eyes.
And in an anime scene, really hard sine angle, my face on the right half, their face on the left half, hard slash dividing the two, and we can see tears streaming down my face.
Indeed.
And I say, "Thank you, my senpai."
And they're just gurgling, but you can hear them saying like, "What?" as they die. That's their final word.
So this moment, in conjunction with Richard losing his sense of loneliness, is basically what creates a serial killer.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That's next year's Extra Life, is a detective story on the trail of Richard.
Okay, so you can take either of these fighters now if you want, because you just have to take the gun from whichever body matches the fighter, and nobody else is paying attention to you right now.
Yeah, the one who taught me a lesson, obviously.
Ah, right.
Just take them both and ride with like 1 foot in each cockpit.
Yeah, I'm gonna ghost ride the two of them, straddling them.
You
In
pick
the
up
mines, we would do
on
this
the
sort of
wings,
thing.
like some kind of Mr. Bean situation.
so you pick up the gun, and they do have a keychain attached to it, and it's got a picture of their family, of course. All right.
Oh, jeez.
Kane. Kane,
right.
you have got control over this anti-air gun. You see there's a fighter jet menacing Cloud, but Cloud is huddled underneath the maxillant particle container.
That should
And
be good cover.
the fighter is on the other side of that container. So you can shoot your turret at the fighter, but there's a good chance you'll hit and collapse the thing on top of Cloud. If you do.
He did try to shoot me.
There's also 4 other turrets and the incoming Alms. And also, I'm just going to say that all 3 of you have a flare gun that you can use to signal for the transport whenever you think it'll be safe enough for it.
So this turret would be connected by land to all the turrets. So I could reasonably try to hack into all the turrets from here.
Yeah, you could. You'd have to roll to do that, but you could do it.
All right. I'm going to try and do that. I'll use my hacking, and I'll use my intelligent trait to make me just so good at hacking.
Okay, so you've got the 2 advantages for that.
Bam.
All right, you do it. You have control over these 5 turrets now. What do you want to do with them?
Well, I'm gonna aim them at the ALMs that are approaching and have them open fire as I run off to the southeast and shoot my flare gun.
Okay, so they're firing towards the which?
The ALMs.
Okay, so they turn and begin concentrating their fire on that group. They are taken by surprise, and I will say one of them is destroyed by this incoming fire. The lead one blows up, leaving 3 scouts and the command. The fighter is still hovering around, but when it sees this happen, it gives up on trying to shoot Cloud, kind of assuming it's just like the pilot rationalizes to herself, he's probably dead after that fall, and it flies over here to
he doesn't need to be afraid of women.
to where it's got
for some reason they just don't like him.
So it's got an opening, and it is going to she is going to use her scanners and see Kane.
Oh jeez.
So she opens fire. And Kane, you said you were running because you want to set off the flares?
Yeah, I want to run off kind of in this direction. Down here.
Okay. So make me a roll to get off the roof safely while a fighter jet is shooting at you.
Can I cut in for a second and flare gun from my position, like try to aim it at, like the cockpit, the viewport, whatever it would be of the THS fighter?
Mm-hmm. You want to shoot at...
and hopefully blind this woman for life?
Okay, so if you want to shoot your flare gun at the fighter, you can do that. So normally I would give you a difficulty for trying to attack some with a flare gun, but I think your gun's field will cancel that out. So it'll just be a regular D20 roll.
I accidentally rolled D20 plus 17, and here we go.
All right, you fire the flare. It explodes just above the canopy of the fighter jet, and the pilot within, who did not see that coming, is at least momentarily blinded. And the fighter appears to be spiraling out of control as she attempts to clear her vision, or at least stabilize the notoriously temperamental VTOL jet she's flying.
Fist pump to myself, like, all right, I did something today.
So Kane, you fired the flare. The anti-aircraft turrets are holding off the Alms that are approaching from the west. Richard, you got into a fighter. I'm going to say that you are safe-ish for now, and the transport is on its way.
Do I need to shoot down the other fighter while it's spiraling?
Is Richard a fighter pilot?
No.
Okay, so you can try. It would be hard, but you can try. So you hop in.
I'm a Bastion pilot. Does that give me advantage?
No, they're entirely different control systems. So yeah, if you want to, you hop into the fighter. Just put that one over there. And you have to, essentially there's a holster in the cockpit. You have to holster the special gun in the cockpit holster, and that's what turns on the fighter.
I holster it.
And the fighter comes to life and says, "Where would you like to go today?"
All right. I say collision course with that spiraling out of control fighter.
A little icon of a paperclip appears on the screen. It says, "It looks like you're trying to perform a suicide attack." And it starts guiding you through the processes that you would need to disable the safeties and allow you to attempt to crash into a friendly fighter.
All right. I begin to follow the instructions wizard.
Okay. As you are doing that, you hear the loud engines of the Yogg transport approaching. And we'll just fast this forward a bit. Copy and your 3 bastions drop out of the transport and land on this roof, narrowly missing the out-of-control fighter, and they are standing by. The Garfield and the Switch both have dummy plugs, so they can do basic stuff, but the Geode is just standing there, waiting for its pilot. So if you want to get into them, you're gonna have to get over to them to get in, but it shouldn't be too difficult with the turrets occupying the elms and the other fighter pilot a little blinded. Though Richard, you could also. Oh, okay. So you're a mechanic, right, Richard?
Yes.
Okay. So you're able to use those mechanics skills to essentially hotwire that jet.
Yeah.
And set it on a collision.
I could eject.
Yeah, you set it on a collision course and you eject.
All right.
And it crashes into the other jet, and they both explode spectacularly.
Yay!
Kaboom. There we go.
All right. I guess we suit up.
Do it. So is the dummy plug sufficient that the Garfield can land near Cloud and pick him up and kind of cradle him like a baby? The entryway.
It does. It comes over towards you and extends a hand down to help you up to the roof to get you into its cockpit.
Whisper to it, "We're going to kill Kane."
All right. So, how do the three of you get into your bastion? We've already heard how Cloud does it.
I think I just slowly hobble my way over to it, clutching my injured shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
lamenting the loss of my reckless character and innocence.
So does the Geo does it kneel for you to get in, or is there like a rope that comes down that pulls you up, or?
The whole chest plate opens up. Top part goes up, bottom part goes bottom, and yeah, just the whole thing opens like a shell, ready for me to enter it.
All right. So it unfolds, and you are able to get on in there into the Geode. And Cloud, you are in the Garfield. And Kane, how do you get into the Switch drone type?
I have a swarm of drones come down and pick me up by both my shoulders, carry me, and slowly drop me into the cockpit.
Okay. Then the cockpit closes up, and all of your systems come online for the three of you. And you can all now see the ALMs over there. Another one of them has been damaged by the turrets, but not destroyed. And they have actually taken out the turrets, so they're on their way over to you now. Which means we are going to switch to the mech combat rules.
Yay!
And so I'll put the grid back on, even though we're not going to use it exactly as the system suggests. We are going to use it for basic ideas. Enabled, 1 units, boom.